Five Isle is an Asian-themed world using the 5 elements of Asian mythology.
The name signifies that that it is two things. It was originally an island with 5 great Chinese elements as its theme or as its kind of spirit: earth, air, fire, water, metal.
So we chose to use Chinese mythology as opposed to Western. This allowed us to present the elements in a more harmonious light than you'd maybe expect in another MMO.
And what has happened, though, is that it has been broken from one great island into 5 islands, one for each of those.
Each fragment has taken its raw element. So we've taken the fire, and of course with the fire we have a lot of lava. We've used a volcano. The atmosphere is very smoky and fiery. The forests are all burnt, and you wander through a sort of apocalyptic kind of landscape. The wood island is very lush. There's forests everywhere. We're trying to embed a little bit of magic into it, so the sort of plants have a life. The idea is that they have a life, and as you wander through the island you get up into a sort of mystical place high up which has a kind of magic tree.
The music for Five Isle is quite different to other worlds. So when you're on Water Island, it's got sounds that sound a bit more watery. Fire has its, it's a bit more dramatic. We really went to a lot of trouble to make it match the Asian influence. Quite beautiful, actually. We're very proud of the music.
Five Isle also represents, at some level, harmony, even though in this case it is a broken harmony.
So, instead of taking this beautiful world in perfect harmony, we've ripped it apart.
The people now is facing to a different challenges that they cannot live peacefully with those elements. Secret creatures of those elemental creatures start rising.
Demonic beings that, looking at them, aren't covered in fire and brimstone. They're covered in plates of interlocking metal that is unlike anything seen beforehand, wielding weapons that no one can describe what they are. Huge, feathered, winged, metallic, technological creations that are just abominations of everything that is with nature.
What we wanted to accomplish when we first created Five Isle was to give the player a sense of appreciation of nature. Players should feel at one with the environment, even so to use the elements as allies against the darker forces.
The player is the one who's still able to break the rules. The player is the one who actually moves around, changes everything, and the people within Five Isle see them as being something far greater. This is just cruel, harsh technology run amok.
Why would a player want to go to Five Isle? Well, as usual in Otherland, there are many, many different things coming together, and everything is always changing. And one of the things that the player gets to do is to start trying to figure out how these worlds have gotten to be the way they are.
And it's really only up to the player to try to find what has happened to this world and maybe help the people who are actively fighting against the chaos.
But on top of that, what we have is a whole layer of story that is very complex and very rich. And if the player wants to, then you're involved in not just doing these things, but figuring out why you're doing these things and what you learn when you go out and perform a quest or when you interact with other characters and things like that. And Five Isle is definitely going to be a very big part of that. Every world is important and significant. And you're dealing with, as with most things in the Otherland game universe, you're dealing with things that are never simple. They are never straightforward.
We had to take all of these elements of virtuality, but a virtuality that existed as an alternate form of true reality, and bring this into a world based off of myths and folk tales, blend this all together, and then create an actual fun, compelling area to run around in.
When you see pictures, it gives you ideas of what you want to do, and a lot of the stuff just comes naturally once you're working to beautiful pictures like we have.
Hopefully it will be a surprise for the players. we are very satisfied with that, and we are happy with that. And then I hope the players can enjoy that when they are playing.